Hi there, sharks and guppies. Before we get started with this video, I want to tell you about the Halloween sale we are having. But first, guess what I'm going to be for Halloween? You want a hint? Things not on straight at all. If you're the parent of a toddler, you should know who I am. No, not a construction worker. I am Rubble, the dog with the giant drill from Paw Patrol. No more ghosts, ghouls, and zombies, just Rubble from Paw Patrol. I'm going to be spending most of my time studying at PokerCoaching.com, digging with the drill, demolishing the competition, and studying a lot. And I recommend you do the same thing. We have a big sale going on right now at PokerCoaching.com/Halloween. So make sure you make the most of it. Enjoy the video. Hello, Sharks. I'm Jonathan Little for PokerCoaching.com, and today we're going to review a hand that another poker coach, James Romero, played on Poker After Dark. If you are not already a Poker Coaching member, make sure you sign up to take advantage of the incredibly high-level, in-depth webinars that James Romero has made for us. Also, he makes a lot of quizzes at PokerCoaching.com, so be sure to check out his work. Here, we are playing a game where James Romero is playing $8,000 deep at 100, 200. You may ask, why would he be playing so shallow? It's because this was a kind of weird game where they started off playing 25-50, then 50-100, then 100-200. And if you lost one time, you could rebuy in one more time. Kind of a weird structure, but that did lead to some players getting short stacks sometimes. So in this hand, it folds around to James Romero, our poker coaching coach. He raises it up to a minimum raise, playing 40 big blinds deep. I think that's perfectly fine and standard with the pocket aces. Jake Daniels, generally loose, generally splashy. He gets in there and battles. He calls. And we see a flop heads up. It comes 8, 5, 3, 2 spades, 1 club. Jake checks. James goes for the $400 bet. He puts in a pretty small flop bet. And then Jake check raises to $1,100. With $7,600 remaining, with pocket aces in this spot, facing the check raise, what would you do? I want you to take a second, think about this, and we're going to quiz you, just like James Romero does at PokerCoaching.com. In this spot, would you make a super nitty fold? Would you call? Would you re-raise small to, let's say, $2,500? Or would you go all in? I want you to pause the video and write what you would do in the comment section below. All right, this is an interesting one because if I was in this spot, knowing that Jake likes to bluff a lot, I would have called. However, I think James actually finds a better play. James re-raises tiny to 2,300. And I talked to him after this hand, and his logic was that if Jake has any sort of pair, any sort of draw, he's just not going to fold, and I'm setting up a turn river shove to put him in a pretty nasty spot with that whole range, right? Also, James kind of knows the turn cards are going to be really bad for him. Any spades, not particularly great. But all the other turn cards are just like good enough, right? So if you get a really bad turn card, maybe you find a way to get off the hook, although you probably don't because they have aces. But on any other card, you're just very happy getting it in. You may say, what if Jake has 7-6 and a 4 comes? Yeah, well, he could also have gut shots that don't get there, right? So this is a very cool play. I don't think I would have done this. I would have called and probably left a little bit of value on the table, or at least not got the pot bigger, right? My fear in this scenario is that when you re-raise, it would be terrible for Jake to fold out a hand like pocket sevens or 8-7, right? Because you really, really, really want to get action from those hands. Also, what if he has just some nonsense like, I don't even know, 10-6 of clubs? You really want action from the 10-6 of clubs, and I think that hand's going to fold to the raise. So as you think Jake's range just gets wider and wider in terms of marginal value hands that will fold, make a big fold, or just like really bad bluffs that will obviously fold, I don't like this play. And I guess my vision of Jake is a little bit clouded because I've seen him like check raise flop with backdoor flush draws and stuff like that, right? So he's getting after it. So if he's getting after it pretty hard, I like the idea of calling and just keeping him in with all of the bluffs. And if he is raising a more reasonable range of just like open-ended straight draws and flush draws, I think I like re-raising small a bit better. Jake does call, turns a king of clubs, Jake checks. Seems like an easy all-in now for James. There are loads of draws available. If Jake did have a backdoor flush draw, you can shove and make him fold, right? In this scenario, when you shove, your opponent needs to win 33% of the time, and if he has a flush draw, he's only going to win 18-ish% of the time, right? Assuming he has no other outs. If he has more outs, maybe he wins a little bit more. But this is a spot where you have to shove the turn. And if he does have a hand like 8-7, he may decide to hero call anyway, because obviously James could potentially have some hands like ace-2 of spades in his range that, you know, you're in fine shape against. So Jake checks, James makes the all-in, and Jake finds the call with 6-4 of clubs. So he did check raise with a strong draw, the open-ended straight draw plus backdoor draw. Got there on the turn with the clubs and did not get there on the river, giving our poker coaching coach the full double up. Definitely a tough spot for Jake. Let's try to figure out how many outs he has on the turn. In this scenario, assuming your flush draw is always good, he has 9 flush outs plus 6 additional straight outs, right? So that is 15 outs total. It gives him something like 30-ish% equity, assuming he's like never against a set. And it's actually very close to the break-even odds, right? I think it's actually a fold. And the reason I think it's a fold is because sometimes you're actually going to be dominated by ace X of clubs, right? That decided to play aggressively. Like imagine James is sitting here with ace-2 of clubs. This is terrible. Doesn't happen all that often, but that's really bad when that happens. Also, sometimes he's going to have a set, and that's really bad when that happens. And you never beat any of the other draws, right? Like I don't think James is getting after it with 6-4 of hearts or something like that. If Jake had a better draw, like even 7-6 of clubs, I don't even know if that one's a call. That's probably still just a fold. Man, brutal, right? This shows you the power of James's play. If he can make all of these really good draws fold out on the turn, it's a pretty sweet line. So I think, what should Jake have done with his hand? It's definitely a nasty spot. If you are going to check raise flop, which I don't think is mandatory, but if you are going to check raise flop and you get re-raise small, I think you probably just want to rip it in immediately. If you can ever get James off of a hand like gut shot with overcards, that's really, really good. The nice thing about getting it in immediately is you just always realize you're 40-ish% equity, which, you know, you're putting it in poorly, but it's not that bad. And you also have some fold equity. So I think the play here for him, given the kind of weird stacks sizes that James has purposely set up, I think it's just a shove. Nasty spot. All right, so that is my analysis of this hand today. Let's go back and take a listen to my analysis from the PokerGo studio.
Before the break, James Romero got max value from his pocket aces, and for a breakdown of that hand, let's send it over to Jonathan Little.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Little of PokerCoaching.com, and let's analyze this interesting situation. When you're playing against an overly aggressive opponent, like Jake Daniels, you should strongly consider using small raises and re-raises to give them reasonable odds to stick around in the pot with hands that are drawing somewhat thin. You should also consider using small raises and re-raises when you want to set up an all-in on the turn. James did exactly that in this hand, where he kept Jake in with a wide range on the flop and then blasted him on the turn. That forced Jake to fold lots of hands that will win some portion of the time and call off with decently strong made hands and draws that are still far behind pocket aces. How would you like to play with me on Poker After Dark? Well, now is your chance. I'm giving away one $5,000 buy-in seat to play with me next season. Head over to PokerCoaching.com/PokerAfterDark to enter the giveaway.
All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this fun hand from Poker After Dark. If you did, do me a little favor. Click the like and subscribe buttons below. Also click the notification bell. I appreciate it. So does the YouTube algorithm. We'll all progress together. Your poker skills and my YouTube algorithm fondness rating. Have a great day. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click the like and subscribe button, and also make sure you make the most of the big sale I'm having at PokerCoaching.com for Halloween. Check it out at PokerCoaching.com/Halloween. Have a great day. Hello. Do I have your attention? Good. You know I love to give away lots of free strategy advice here on my YouTube channel, so do me a quick favor. Can you click the subscribe button right here and right down here below? Thank you. See you in the next video.